Quick question, Admiral Wolf. There were real problems with the welds in the missile silos for the new Columbia. Has that been corrected? Are we back on track? Did we lose schedule?
Yes, sir. So you're correct. We did have issues with the welds on the missile tubes early on. What PEO Columbia has done is they've gotten to the root cause of that. They have it under control. We did lose some schedule margin. I would say that we did not lose schedule in the overall delivery of the Columbia, the first of class. PEO Columbia continues to monitor that. And continues to watch as all of the vendors are producing these missile tubes and making sure that we're meeting not just what we need for the Columbia class, but also those same missile tubes are being delivered to the UK for the Dreadnought class as well. And we have revised the schedule and we're tracking to that schedule. Yes,
Thank you. General Ray, we've been talking all day about deterrence. And deterrence rests upon two things, credibility and will. Would it undermine our deterrent posture to not modernize, particularly for the missile systems which are now going on 50, 60 years old? In other words, would not modernizing itself send a signal that would not be good in terms of our ability to deter our adversaries?
Sir, I think that's exactly the case. I think our adversaries know exactly what we can and can't do, and they're busy preparing counters to those. To not respond to that or to let that be the status quo would be very detrimental to our deterrent, or basically our capability.
It just seemed to me that would be a signal. We're not modernizing, therefore the credibility of the deterrent diminishes. Let's see, Mr. Walter, we've talked about NC3 and Senator Manchin mentioned it. I really think instead of talking about the triad, we ought to be talking about the quad, because without NC3, nothing else works. And if that's a vulnerability, I'm sure you've read all the books about World War III start with a cyber attack. And so it's got to be absolutely bulletproof and I guess cyberproof. Mr. Walter, reassure me.
Yes, sir. If I could take it a step farther, and when we speak about the nuclear deterrent, we tend to speak about 5 key components. As I mentioned in my opening statement, there's the weapons, there's the delivery systems, and that's what most people think about. But the nuclear command and control system, the NC3 system, underpins all of that and allows the president to exercise the options available.
And if we've learned anything in the last year, it's that our systems are vulnerable. Even Defense Department systems. And
many of our legacy current systems in the NC3 world were also developed and deployed during the Cold War. So they remain safe, secure, they remain effective, but as we look to modernize them, the services spend an awful lot of time with OSD oversight on ensuring they remain so in the face of cyber challenges. We may not even fully understand what cyber challenges we may face in 10 years from now. If I could just add the 2 other components to the five-part nuclear triad, as I said, the infrastructure that underpins all of it, including at the National Nuclear Security Administration and their ability to produce weapons, and the industrial base on the Department of Defense side, and then finally the workforce, the people, which you mentioned, we've all mentioned.
Thank you. Admiral Wolf, I've heard the argument that we don't need the missiles because the submarines are invulnerable. They're stealthy, they can't be found. My concern is that may be true today, but it may not be true in 5 to 10 years with the development of technology. 10 years ago, we thought our space assets were invulnerable. Now we know they're not. Comment on that, please.
Yes, sir. So the Navy... I
don't expect an admiral to say my submarines are vulnerable, but...
No, sir. So what I would tell you is the Navy continuously monitors through intelligence sources and others what capabilities the adversary may be developing, and we stay ahead of that. We have within the submarine force security programs, and I'd be happy to talk to you at a more classified level if you'd like about the things that we look at and the things that we monitor. And as we look at new submarine development, all of that is taken into account, and we design those systems so that we can stay ahead of that.
I appreciate that, but it's a question of where you're putting all your eggs, and there's still technological vulnerability 5, 10 years from now. But I appreciate that you're cognizant of this risk.